Finally, a lot of you have been waiting a long time for this moment. I'm talking about the recently released EX90, their flagship electric SUV. This is the successor of the very popular XC90, and I understand why. It's a great looking car. It's a very versatile SUV. I'm not blown away. I'm not really convinced about this car. I will dig into that details and the reasons for why, so stay tuned. First, we're going to look into the details about the car, the facts, the specifications, measurements, horsepower, etc. Before doing that, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. It will really help me to create more content for you guys. So let's go. So this is a big car. It's a 7-seater. It weighs 2.8 tons. It's longer than the current XC90. It's actually 504 centimeters long and has a wheelbase that's 298 centimeters. So the wheelbase is exactly the same as the current XC90 and also the same as the upcoming Polestar 3. It has a giant battery of 111 kilowatt hours gross capacity and 107 kilowatt hours of net capacity, and that's a buffer just to save the battery to make it last longer. The base version of this car has a VLTP range of 585 kilometers, and that's for the 408 HP version that has 770 Newton meters of torque. It does 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds, and it has a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. And the top speed is limited due to Volvo's safety policy. They do that with all their cars, so it's nothing unique for this car. It has a great cargo capacity. If you fold the last row, the third row, you will have a cargo capacity of 655 liters plus 37 liters in the front. So if you have a small trunk for storing a small bag or cables. A new thing with this car is that it comes with a key phone. Means that you can use your phone, your smartphone, as a key to the car. You can start your car, unlock and lock the car with your phone in your pocket, just as Tesla does, for instance. And when it comes to charging this big battery, you have a peak power of 250 kilowatts, but keep in mind that this is the peak power and you can only achieve 250 kilowatts on the Tesla superchargers, because that's currently the only charging network that can handle that high amperage on 400 volts. So this is a 400 volt battery pack, which actually makes it a bit harder to charge on other networks. You will only achieve 200 kilowatt if you charge on Ionity charger, for instance. When it comes to home charging, it's 11 kilowatts, 3-phase. This is a bit low for such a big battery, but it's more or less industry standard. The base price of this car is 1,085,000 SEK or 105,000 euros. So that's the base version, so it's an expensive car. And you can expect the first deliveries in the first half of 2024. So it's currently a long production time. They haven't started the production yet. So the delivery times is between 16 and 18 months if you order a car now. So when it comes to the good parts, there is several good parts with this car. I love the design. I love that it is clearly an evolution in the Volvo design. You immediately see that this is a Volvo and a successor of the XC90. Sometimes in some angles it may be a bit too close to the current XC90, but it's still a good step, and I really like the design, and especially the interior. The interior is amazing. It's Scandinavian. It's clean and good. I also like that they have the aero wheels as the only choice. I mean, you can choose between different kinds of aero wheels, but I think it's a very good idea to only have and to only sell aero wheels to the car to keep the aerodynamics at a good level. And it actually fits the design of the car, and it suits it well. You have great space. I mean, the space is the top point of this car. It's 7 seats, although the third row, the seat in the back, is a bit small, and you probably should only expect kids riding in the third row, not grown-ups. And you have a great cargo space if you fold the last row. And another thing that I love is that they continue using Android Automotive, and this is the next version, the next level. That's great. And I also love the bi-directional charging. Even if it's not possible yet, it will be in the future, at least in Sweden, and hopefully in other places. So there is a couple of good things. And when it comes to the bad things, unfortunately, for me at least, that list is longer than the good things. I mean, the specs are okay today, but not more than that. And the car will feel outdated when it comes to the specs when it's starting to be delivered. I mean, when you get your car in 1.5 years, the specs is not great anymore. The design evolution looks good today. It can look a bit outdated in 1.5 years. I mean, it's a bit too defensive. They could have been pushing it a little bit more. But of course, keeping the Volvo brand. And another thing that's on the bad side, I think you will have a hard time achieving the VLTP range of this car. It's bulky, it's high, it's over 10 centimeters higher than other cars in the segment. I mean, it's 10 centimeters higher than the Polestar 3. It's almost 10 centimeters higher than the Lotus Eletre. It has a high drag coefficient, too high. I mean, 0.29. That's I mentioned that in the earlier video I did. That's not good enough, Volvo. I'm sorry. And the overhang. The overhang in the front and at the back, it's too long. They should have been expanding the wheelbase instead of adding overhang to the car. So all that together with these 2.8 tons will make this car very ineffective compared to other brands at that time. And the last thing is actually the price. The price is too high. I don't understand the Polestar, the play between Polestar, the dynamics between Polestar and Volvo anymore. I thought Polestar was the more premium and special brand, but apparently not. Volvo is a more expensive brand. I know the Volvo is a bit bigger, but it's still the same car. It's the same platform. It's the same size, same specs, or at least I think Polestar has better specs in a lot of points, but it's still a lot cheaper than the Volvo. I don't understand that. So when it comes to me, I mean, I'm not interested in 7-seater. That's not important for me. So if you look at this table here, I'm comparing the base versions of the EX90, the Polestar 3, and the Lotus Eletre. And as you see, there is the only point that the Volvo outshines the others is when it comes to space and nothing else. When it comes to performance, to charging, to horsepower, to aerodynamics, to weight, to speed, to range, you name it. I mean, the Eletre outshines the EX90 in every aspect. And it's still cheaper than the EX90. How is that even possible? How is that possible? Who buys an EX90 when you can buy the Lotus? I don't get it. And if you think the Lotus is too expensive and you don't need 7 seats, go for the Polestar. It will be available earlier. The same as the Lotus. The Lotus will be available next summer. And the specs is a lot better than the specs for the EX90 that will be available 1 year later than the Lotus. But that's just me. I mean, I don't want to sound too negative here. I think it's a good looking car and a lot of people will like it, but it's nothing for me. And if you feel different, or if you have any other points that you want to point out, please write it in the comments and let us have a discussion about that. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Talk to you later.